Hello and herzlich willkommen to Wrestling Days. Just want to do a couple of shout outs at the start of this. I want to shout out to Morris Jacob, who reliably tells me that what I just said was hello and welcome to Wrestling Days in German. And also I want to give a shout out to @Bloodthirsty TFG, a long time supporter of the channel. So I want to talk about the draft today, because unless you've been living under a Dwayne Johnson, a rock, then this is the biggest thing going on at the moment. The draft is going to happen on Tuesday, and half the superstars go to Raw, half the superstars go to Smackdown. It's believed there'll be some call-ups from NXT, and also it's believed that there'll be some returning stars. Now, I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about where I thought people might go, and also who I think the GM will be of each show, because on Monday on Raw they're going to announce who is going to be the general manager of Raw and who will be the general manager of SmackDown. So the general manager of Raw answers to Stephanie McMahon, and the general manager of SmackDown will answer to Shane McMahon. And then the two shows are going to be completely separate. They've got their own wrestlers that just stay on those shows. And it's something WWE have done before in the early mid-2000s. Worked okay at times, but to tell the truth, I was never the biggest fan of it, because there's going to be certain matches that you're going to want to see. If John Cena goes to Raw and Roman Reigns goes to SmackDown, then that means that you won't see a match between John Cena and Roman Reigns. Now, for a lot of people, myself included, I don't care about that match, so it's absolutely fine. I don't want to see that match. But there's going to be matches that you do want to see that you're now not going to be able to, or certainly until, say, a big event like maybe SummerSlam, maybe WrestleMania, or you'll have to wait for next year's draft. So there's definitely pros and cons to it. For me, I think that the kind of rumour is that Daniel Bryan will be the GM for SmackDown, which I really hope that's true. I've seen another rumour actually saying that it could be Brie Bella. It could be that they put Brie on SmackDown and they put Nikki on Raw. I think that would be horrible, but I could see them doing it. Because they're fresh. And it would be something different. The app said the Yes Movement was coming to SmackDown, which certainly implies Daniel Bryan, but it could be Brie, considering Brie is Daniel Bryan's other half. Now, I don't think it's going to go that way. I think it will be Daniel Bryan. And on Raw, because of it being Steph, I think it makes sense that they have a heel general manager. So I think they're going to need somebody, who is Steph going to pick? Who is Steph going to want to work with? I fear that it might be Big Show, but I think Big Show... Well, I would say Big Show's face at the moment, but he's not. It looks like he's about to, sign a big match to have at WrestleMania next year against Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, just saying that is crazy. That match as well, if it goes ahead, I think would be awful. I just think that they could put Nakamura against Balor at WrestleMania instead of Big Show against Shaquille O'Neal. Just has no impact on me whatsoever. I've got no desire to see that match. They're basically putting a match on the card I just couldn't care less about, and it's only July, so I really hope they've not signed that, but I fear they will. There's so much kind of press around it and hype around it. I think it's coming. I think though, Big Show or Kane has showed that he can work with a heel authority, even though he's kind of a face. He's fun, he brings a bit of comedy. I don't think Steph would pick him though, so it's really difficult to know who she would select. I've heard rumours that it's going to be Stone Cold. I don't think Steph would pick Stone Cold, and I don't see how she has a GM forced on her As far as I know, it's her decision. So I think you have to expect a heel for Raw, and I think you have to expect a face for SmackDown. Picks wise, I would love to see the tag teams go onto one division and the women go on to another. I think that the women's division's very thin, and even if they call up a load of people, then are you really going to be able to support two rosters? Because I would like to see more than one women's match, and my worry is that if they split what is already a thin women's roster, then you will either see one women's match on each show, or some weeks nothing. Also, does that mean they bring in a second women's champion? I don't have a problem with the second women's title. I think there should be a second women's title, but I wouldn't go this way. I would introduce a second women's title, but just put all the women onto SmackDown, and then put all the tag teams onto Raw, and then split the men in half. That's how I would do it, because I think there's enough male solo talent. I think there's quite a few tag teams, but I really would keep them separate rather than making another tag team world title and another world women's title as well. I think that depending on who gets the first pick, if Steph gets the first pick, I'm sure she's going to go for Seth. If Shane gets the first pick, I'm sure he goes for Dean Ambrose. Dean being the current champion makes sense, and he's week in, week out. He's someone that you can really build your show around, and that's exactly the same with Seth. You know, you can build your show around him. I don't think Roman Reigns would be too far down the list. I'm not sure where the likes of Brock Lesnar comes in, or Undertaker, because they're part-time. So if you're selecting them, yes, you've got yourself a big name, but you've got someone in, certainly Undertaker, that might only wrestle once a year. So I don't know how. I think they will pick, I don't know, 30 each, 20 each, and then I think they'll do the rest on WWE.com or something along those lines. I don't think we're going to sit there and have every single superstar and NXT and returning stars, which I do think there'll be some coming back basically, or getting called up. I don't think we'll go through everybody, so I expect WWE.com or the app, or maybe a special network show to do some work. It might be that there's a match on and on SmackDown, and whilst the match is on, something comes up going, Heath Slater's breaking news, Heath Slater's been drafted to SmackDown, or something along those lines. I mean, it's going to be absolutely fascinating. It is going to be must-see TV. But I do think that there's a strong possibility that Seth goes to Raw and Dean goes to SmackDown. I don't know who goes for Cena. Cena could end up with on SmackDown. I struggle to see who Steph picks and who Shane picks. Why is Steph going to want Cena? Steph's going to want Kevin Owens and people along those lines. So it's really difficult. That's why I've not done like a mock draft, because I think they could go several ways with it, and I think it could work really well several different ways. So I've not bothered doing a mock draft, but I really would keep the tag teams on one and the women on another. People I'd love to see called up from NXT, I'd love to see Balor, Bayley, Nakamura, Asuka, Samoa Joe. I really would take them up. Just get them all up there. From what I'm hearing, Kota Ibushi and Gran Metali from the Cruiserweight tournament that's happening at the moment have just signed with NXT. Kota Ibushi is huge. That is a massive name. That is a massive signing. So they've got talent that they can replace Nakamura. Well, you might struggle to replace Nakamura. He really is one of a kind. You might struggle to replace Balor, but I think they've got some big talent that they've got in the wings on NXT. So do it. Call these guys up. Let's make Raw and SmackDown really, really exciting. I would put AJ Styles and the Club wherever Ambrose goes, because I think that should be a feud. I think they need to be around the world title picture. I think Styles should be going for that world title, and I think the club should be not far behind. I wouldn't put. I think Balor's got potential to be a massive face, like the biggest face. So I wouldn't put him in with the club. I'd have him fighting against the club. So maybe he gets called up later, and he gets called up to fight off the club, make the save. Ambrose is being beaten up, and Balor makes his debut to make the save. I think I'd prefer that to him being on the draft. And Balor has said, actually, he was asked, will you be on the draft? And he said, well, I hope that NXT's included in the draft. And they were like, oh yeah, Zach, you want to, he's like, no, I'd love to see John Cena and Randy Orton in NXT. So, he cheeky. So look, we'll have to see. I'm not going to sit here and speculate, but I'd love to hear from you guys. Who do you think's going to go where? Who do you want to see go where? What stars do you want to see come back on that front? I think there'll be some underwhelming names return. Heavily rumoured are people like Stevie Richards. I don't think we'll see an angle. You might see an angle if American Alpha get called up. That's a good point. Could every chance that we see American Alpha. I don't think you see Jeff Hardy. That's another name I've seen doing the rounds. And I'm trying to think who else. Tajiri, I think might make a few appearances in NXT. I don't think they'll call him up to the main roster. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Cool. Thanks a lot for watching. Those are just a few of my thoughts on the draft. I absolutely cannot wait. I will have live reactions to everything that goes on. I will be live tweeting. And so there'll be a lot of activity. So yeah, this video really is just nothing more than to give you a few of my thoughts on it, to ask you for yours, because I'd love to hear what you think about it all, and just to let you know that this is going to be one of the biggest weeks. This is up there with WrestleMania week for me, because this week changes everything. This week absolutely changes everything. Cool, don't forget you can follow me and latest developments are Wrestling Days at Wrestling Days UK. That is on Twitter and Facebook. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, really would appreciate it if you did, because as we said, we've got loads going on this week. This is huge. Thanks a lot for watching. Really do appreciate it. It's going to be a very exciting few days. So hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.